Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are looking at another Black Friday purchase. This is With You, I Forget My Goddess by Bee's Knees Lacquer. I cannot tell you the distress I feel that of all the Baldur's Gate 3 polishes BKL released, that I bought the Gale polish. I hate Gale. I hate that he eats my items, and I will never stop resenting him. I kill him at every opportunity. Now most of the time I have to razz him again, but then I murder him again. But here we are. We're going to call this a purple to blue metallic polish. I think occasionally I see some pink in there, and hopefully that will show in the footage. This is not a true chrome polish. That's a finish I associate with a very smooth texture. It is very lustrous and shiny, but it still retains some visual texture in the shifts. In the bottle, I see a green shift, but for the most part, you will not see that on the nail. This one has good coverage in one coat. I think most manicures will be done in 2. Long, clear nails might need 3. It goes on pretty evenly in one coat, and I think if you wanted to preserve it, you could use a medium to dark blue or purple underneath and just use one coat. But it is only a 2-coat polish, so maybe not worth all that extra effort. In this lighting, the polish is mainly looking like a medium purple to a pinkish purple. I'm going to call that pinkish shade an amethyst. There is an indigo into blue shift, but we will only see that later. One thing I will say about this polish is that if you go in for very thick coats, you might see brush strokes. But in defense of the polish, you don't need thick coats. This one is quite opaque, especially for a BKL. I did a thicker second coat, and I do see some brush strokes where I capped my tips. I looked for those in the footage, but they were actually pretty hard to see. In person, I can still see them though. So fair warning, if you have too much polish on your brush, it will disrupt your lines when you cap your tips. I didn't notice any lines when I was painting the main portion of my nail, only when I was capping the tips. This is another time that I need to apologize for my skin. I'm still in the aftermath of my cuticle remover indiscretion. As I'm putting this video together and doing the editing, my skin actually looks pretty good, so it has at this point healed, basically back to normal. Now that this is out in the sun, you'll be able to see this in all its glory. We start out with that pinkish purple at the tips of my nails, the true purple in the middle, and a transition to blue closer to my cuticle line. As I swing around to the left, you get more of the pink when my fingers are down and more of the blue when they're raised. In some shifting metallics, there is a main color that you see, a dominant color that is there far more often than the rest. This is not one of those polishes. This one splits its time pretty evenly between these main colors of amethyst, purple, indigo, and blue. And they are all bright saturated colors. The one exception is the green shift, but we will talk about that in a minute when we see it. This is a very pretty polish, and overlooking my hatred for Gale was the correct decision, even if it was somewhat galling. Unfortunately for the sun and shade shot, the sun wasn't as bright as I would have liked, but I'm going with what I have. We start off seeing that amethyst with my fingers down, and as I raise my fingers, you see some true purple and a touch of indigo and blue. Not much changes as I swing around to the left, but the proportion of indigo and blue you see increases when I raise my fingers. In terms of what this reminds me of, mostly insects. Funny enough, it is hard to get a metallic finish if you have fur. The blue mint beetle is a cute little guy that is purple and blue. There is also the Australian blue flower wasp. And North America has a species that looks pretty similar called the blue mud dauber. If you're afraid of black widow spiders, this wasp is your best friend. They prey on spiders and most notably black widows. I don't see them very often, maybe a few times each summer, but every time I admire their beauty and let them enjoy the yard. We are now indoors, and this is the one place I think I might see that green. As I'm facing the window, there might be some teal in the blue on the right side of my cuticle line. I am definitely seeing amethyst at the fingertips. That moves into the indigo and blue quite nicely on different parts of the nail as your eye travels upward toward the cuticle line. As I move to the left and the artificial lights, you get even more amethyst until eventually that dominates the entire nail. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can weave tiny baskets that I attach helium balloons to and send the chipmunks to explore the world for 80 days. Please enjoy a clip of the wild rabbit eating out of the bowl as if he were my pet. Oh, there's my bunny eating out of the bowl. A great big weirdo. I think he likes the millet, but I'm not entirely sure.